Okay, we're on to the study sessions, and the first item is the fire department.
I got three things for you this morning. The first one, paid call firefighter Dylan Neubauer submitted his resignation. Dylan's on Sedgwick County Fire Department. He joined our fire department and then got on Sedgwick County. He has a young family as well, and found it very difficult to manage both of them, with us being as busy as we are, and then him going to work. Coming home, he had no free time with his family. So we're hoping in the future he can come back. He's a very talented young man, so we'll probably bring that forward if you're okay with that next week.
Okay.
Clayton Everhart interviewed successfully for the paid call position, and we have been getting quite a few paid call applicants. So we've been conducting interviews. We felt that Mr. Everhart would be a valuable addition to paid call, so we're going to ask to move forward with him next week.
Okay.
And then the last item I have for you this morning is we received the renewal notice for Target Solutions. If you guys remember, it's the fire department's training platform. It's how we do continuing education on all of our certifications that's required from the either state level and or professional certifications that we need for ISO requirements and to maintain the professional licenses that everybody has. The renewal date was on July 1st, and we got it late, so it's the amount is $35.45.90, not 34. Those numbers. So it's $35.45.90. We did have that item budgeted.
Okay. I'd say bring it Monday.
Okay, that's all I got.
Okay. Chief Golden.
Mayor and Commissioners, I have one item for the study session. Currently, the police department has military surplus Kevlar combat helmets, which are old, worn down, heavy, and do not support face shields, gas masks, or communications. With the current social environment today and the different dangerous situations law enforcement officers are facing, we're not prepared to form a line of defense during riots, safely enter violent calls for service, or safely execute warrant services. Just as Friday, we went and assisted Rice County with a SWAT call out with an officer shot numerous times. I'm requesting permission from the City Commission to purchase 40 ballistic helmets with Picatinny rail systems and face shields from Gulls for an amount not to exceed $21,200. These helmets will reduce the potential life-threatening injuries to officers by protecting their heads from injury. If need be, I, of course, will wait until early November after we confirm where we are in the budget to ensure that we have enough cash balance. These items have a 30 to 45-day turnaround with goals. That's something that I would like to bring for your consideration.
I would like to hold off on this until after we've done the evaluation on the other things. And if in fact we know where we're at, we talked about putting these in priority order. So I think that everybody has heard why we need it, and we've had the incident in Lyons that we were called out to participate in. So, but I do think ultimately we're going to need these, but I think we will bring it after we know the financial position, and that is indefinite at this time.
So you're asking to put the items, not only this, but the other items that you have that you're waiting on, put them into a priority?
They were given in, you got them
Okay.
in priority.
Okay.
This is the fourth priority, and
Okay.
I'm saying this will come, you've got it, it won't come up until we know that
Okay.
we can do this, there may be other things that have a priority different
At least after our retreat.
from other, and it'll be after the retreat.
I agree, thank you.
Okay,
Is this one helmet for every full-time officer?
Yes.
Okay.
It would be 35 sworn officers. Obviously, we're down 3 right now, but I'm also going to start that reserve program, so I need a couple extra helmets.
Okay, and how do you determine when these go out?
When the officer's going to use them?
Yeah.
Riot situation, firearm in a house situation, somebody's shot at the police and the patrol officer's going to be there. They're going to don a helmet in case something comes out. These are ballistic rated. They will stop a .44 Magnum bullet. But the face shield's going to be basically if they're. We live in a great community, and I understand that, but it's not our community that would cause the problem. It's coming from the outside, and I want them to have that protection on their face as well from spitting or anything else that could happen.
And what is a Picatinny rail system?
It's the system. It's 2 screws that go on the side of the helmet, and it holds the face shield on.
Okay. Can you put other things on there, on that rail system?
If the face shield is off, you can put a light. You can put up front. You can put night vision. I mean, these are used by SWAT normally. It's a high cut helmet. It's low profile. It's a lot lighter than these old helmets that we have. That it looks like Darth Vader. I mean, you have this humongous helmet and you can't move around.
Okay.
These are better fit, and it's one size fit all because there's a spin button on the back that tightens the inside and holds it.
Yep.
So,
Are they a carbon fiber construction?
yes.
Okay. Thank you, that's all I had.
Good.
yeah, one of the other things is, I think it was in the Sunday Sentinel that Senator Moran was here, and I went with him on his visits here, and we are going to try to put together, since he is, I think, Chair of the Appropriations Committee for the Justice Department, we want to put a law enforcement meeting to here, not to go to business or anything, just a quiet meeting to talk about some of these things. And I would also like, in that time, to review the presentation at the League of Kansas Municipalities by Detective Skinner, and how are we moving forward, and it may have an impact on how many of these we order at one time.
Sure.
And so that's another thing besides the retreat that I'm trying to set up so that Senator Moran can come, meet with our hierarchy in our police department in the SO, and talk about McPherson, Kansas, and some of the things that we've already done and some of the things that we may do, and have a round table with him. So I'm not looking to make an order like this until we've had that meeting, and hopefully over the next 3-4 weeks he can find time to be here. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, administration, and I guess I'm calling on Tammy Seeley, Wellness.
It's the time of year that we renew our wellness policy, look over that, make any changes that we feel necessary. So I'm here today to go over some of the changes that we have suggested. One of the main things that was on the policy for this year was implementing a tobacco policy penalty. If someone smoked, they would have an additional penalty to pay. The Wellness Committee met, and also the Benefit Committee met, and both agreed that due to COVID-19 concerns that we felt that this wasn't a good time to ask people to give up those type of habits right now. It's been stressful, and so what we've opted to do is, if you approve, to opt out of that and not implement it this year, but keep it in there so that we could implement it in future years if we would so choose to do that. I think the next one, well, what we did is we also kept the Complete a Certified Smoking and Tobacco Cessation Program in there, so that if somebody does want to do that, we'll still give them a star for that if they choose to do that. But we also kept the wording, due to COVID-19 concerns, we have opted not to implement the tobacco penalty. It could be considered in future years. The other thing to keep in mind with that tobacco penalty is how we would implement that and do that. City attorney has some issues with people signing an affidavit. We've talked about doing a testing through Hutch Clinic and test employees, but that gets to be quite expensive. So we'll revisit that next year at this time. And then we've also kept in, if people sign up to participate in a team sport, that due to COVID-19, if that sport is canceled due to COVID, we don't know what's going to happen in the next few months, they can still get a star for that if they can show that they enrolled for it and at least it started. And we've kept the 2 of 5 lunch and learns. We made that modification this year, I think in June or July when COVID hit, to accommodate those. It used to be 3 of 5, so we'll try to at least get people to be able to attend 2 of those. The last change, or I guess there's 2 left. We do challenges throughout the year. We do 4 of those. To get 1 star, you can complete 2 of the 4 challenges, and then if you would complete all 4 challenges, you could get 2 stars, and that was a recommendation from the Wellness Committee that they wanted to reward people if they would complete all 4 of those challenges. And then the last star that we added, this is confirm that you do not smoke. You confirm that you are tobacco free. That's no vaping, no chewing, no smoking. You can receive a star for that, but that star will not happen until October of 2021. You have to go through this whole entire year with being tobacco free, and we are just putting that on as on the honor system, so people next October, if they have been tobacco free, they'll let us know and we can give them that star. I believe that's the changes for this next year. So if we have any input, we can also make additional changes if you feel like we need to do that, or we can move forward.
Okay, would you like this to come forward next Monday?
I
And,
say so.
The plan year would start November 1st.
yeah,
So the plan would be to bring it next week and then
Right.
get it out.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
All right, thank you.
yeah. Public lands and facilities.
I have one item. On May 26, 2020, City Commission approved hiring Sons of Fence, a limited liability company, to install a 6-foot high chain link fence with 1 swinging gate around the electrical panels and transformers at Lakeside Park for the amount not to exceed $1,551.31. Since this approval, staff has tried to make contact with the company and been unsuccessful, and we need to get that fence up, and so we've opted to go, we requested quotes from 4 different vendors, and as you can see, custom fencing from Inman, Kansas came in at $2,699.76, which is $1,148.45 more than the original quote. So requesting to go ahead and bring it, if it's okay to bring it next week,
I'd say bring it.
so we can get it done.
We've gotta get it done.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would like to, if nobody has a problem, I'd like to bring it when we come back out of recess, so
Okay.
you can
Okay.
get the order done.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Public Works.
I just have one item. We've been investigating issues with the Earl Street Community Sewer. Part of the problem is a section of collapsing main from First to Earl between Elm and Grimes. Looking at the collapsing section, we found that there's no easement for the main that's been in place since around 1929. To move forward with the main repair, we need to get sanitary sewer easements in place. I've contacted Nick Smith to survey, write description, draw up individual property exhibits. I do not have a formal quote at this time, but his confident will be under $300 per property. there are 7 properties involved, a maximum of $2,100.
Do you need that done? You want us to bring it
Let's bring it after the reset.
Bring it back here when we go
Today?
back
Yeah.
into session.
Okay,
Okay, and then I'll bring the exact amount as soon as he works up a
Okay,
formal.
good. Okay,
okay. COVID-19, I don't think that we have any additional things unless somebody else has something. Okay. Ferguson Economic Development, we are working through a myriad of definitions and changes. And the city attorney asked me to bring back up the guest tax incentive that we had, 4% of the 7 on the new hotel. And we don't, this is not something to vote on, but are we comfortable of just splitting that 50-50, and it would be 3.5 that would go to them for the period and 3.5 to us?
I would say yes.
Okay,
What was on the original?
4.
Okay.
4, and we'll make a little bit, and I hope that that would help finance the, whatever we get the numbers each time on them. We just have to take half of it. It'll make it easier than the oddball.
Yeah, my question was too, and it's just their portion that they stop and file transit gas back, it's just.
Yeah, it's just their hotel.
We did meet, the finance committee met last week and met for about 2 hours going over just some of the details that went along with
Yeah.
the last draft of it. And so that's the piece that is back on the plate for the Ferguson group as
Yeah.
well, so we
Well,
addressed a
I
number of
hope
things.
that all of that gets done. Jeff is in lab work pre-op this morning, then he has a surgery, and whenever he gets it done, we're going to take all those changes and send them to Ferguson and let them react, and then we'll bring it back here. Okay? All right, so I'll contact Jeff on the guest tax. All right, we are going to be back in city commission session. The first item that we need to deal with is the public lands and facilities. And so you've already heard that. You can, if you stay on the study session, you have a motion out there that you can make so that we can go ahead and get this order in place.
I'll make the motion that we approve the fence bid. And I don't have that in front of me for Lakeside Park Electric Panel and Transformer. It was a lower bid, it
Yeah.
was.
For amount not to exceed $2,699.76,
That'd be correct.
an increase of $1,148.45.
I second that motion.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Then we have one on Public Works, on Earl Street Sewer. And if you
I move that
stayed
we,
on the study session, you have a motion there.
all right. I move that we approve payment to Garber Surveying to survey, write a legal description and draw up exhibits for the sewer main easement for the sewer main from Earl Street to First Street between Elm Street and Grimes for a cost not to exceed $2,100. And I might just add that $2,100 could change.
I'll second that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Was there any other item? Janetta?
I guess I just have a question, is this gonna be another couple $100,000 project possibly? I mean, I know we don't know, but
No, it won't be that much. It'll be significant, I'm guessing, under 100.
I guess I just wanna comment that, you know, I think our representative for the wastewater fund, we're estimating at this point at 2.8 million, which is one of the lowest fund balances that we've had in some time. And I know there's been a lot of projects
yeah, but we also need to correct sewer problems too. So we'll keep that in mind as we're looking at this.
And definitely, I think it's worth looking at where our rates are at some point, so.
Well, we usually do that this time of year,
We usually look
before
at
the
it,
first of the year.
I don't know, we typically look at it during budget time, cause then we'll know we can do some estimates, but, that's usually the time, so as we start to look at the 2021 budget, that's probably the ideal time to say if we're gonna do some rate increases, where we're gonna anticipate our revenues to be, so.
Maybe we need to add that to the fall retreat.
Yeah, that probably isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, because we could still do that this year for 2021. Okay,
Okay.
all right, is there anything else that needs to be brought up in this commission meeting?
The one thing I will, this isn't really, this is kind of a late addition, but I did get, last week sent to me, the census went ahead and wrapped up on the 15th, was the last day to do self-response, and the enumerators were done here, and they did send out a link, which I thought was interesting, of self-response rates, and they actually did it by city. The only way we could see was by census tract, but it did say that McPherson's self-response rates were 74.1%, and the Kansas self-response rates were 69.7%. So we did better than a lot of the state, but obviously it was a very challenging year. But I want to thank all the citizens for what they did for those that did go ahead and do early self-response. It kind of assured that it made it a little bit easier as the enumerators came around and did that. And hopefully, when the numbers all shake out, they were reporting 99% response overall nationwide. So I think they were able to get a lot of the answers from the enumerators that came out. And I want to thank the fire department that came out and helped try to get some last minute self-response rates that we were hopefully able to add to between the enumerators and people that had actually responded in person. But it'll be probably a while till we actually find out where we're at census-wide on this. I don't know the time frame. I don't have the time frame right in front of me for when they'll figure that out, but everything's been pushed back because of coronavirus. So as soon as we know that, we'll let folks know. But I do want to thank the community for being proactive and getting the word out on that.